Howdy folks, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Tyler and today I'm going to react to what's on my TBR shelf on Goodreads. I have talked about wanting to read more of the stuff on my TBR shelf because it's gotten a little out of hand, and I actually tried to record this video a couple days ago where I reacted to my entire TBR and really put into perspective how many friggin' books are on my TBR, because I recorded for half an hour and I hadn't even gotten through like half of the TBR, and I was like, oh, there are way too many books on this TBR. Anyways, so I've decided I'm gonna do like best and worst rated books on the TBR, do a couple in each category, and maybe some other sorting, organizing of it, and just kind of give you some thoughts about these books. So let's get on to it. It is sorted by date added, so I'll show you the most recent ones that I have added. Migrations by Charlotte Mcconaughey. Mcconaughey, probably. This is like a climate change dystopia book, I believe. It was in Books and Lala's, Kayla's most recent vlog where she read other booktuber favorite books, and it sounded pretty intriguing. Jawbone. Well, this is a long summary. This is like, I don't know what the heck this is. I don't know where I picked this up, but I am intrigued again by reading the description. A teacher is holding hostage two friends, and there's some stuff going on. It seems maybe horror-ish in nature. I did not add this that long ago, and I don't remember where I got it from. Things have gotten worse since we last spoke. This is, I think, kind of controversial. I think people either love it or hate it. It's like 2000s internet story. I'm intrigued. I was definitely involved in chat rooms and just early 2000s internet, so I look forward to diving into that at some point. Sarah, is it Galley? I think. They are actually I don't know if I will say one of my favorite authors, but I have never read a book by Sarah Galley that I did not like. I read Upright Women Wanted, which is like a novella about librarians in an alternate Wild West sort of universe. I read it for the Pop Sugar reading challenge a few years ago, I think. It was like, read a Western, and just hearing the word Western, I like trembled. That is way outside of my comfort zone in the type of fiction I like to read. I was looking for something short that would not take ages to read in case I didn't like it, but I was also looking for something like that wasn't an actual traditional Western in the sense of like old white men and horses in the 1800s, just because that is 100% not my style whatsoever. And that had come up as a recommendation, and I loved Upright Women Wanted. And after that, I read their book, River of Teeth, I think that's what it's called. It's a book about, it's also kind of a Western, but it's about hippos that had been introduced to the Mississippi River, like swamps and stuff. And while that wasn't my favorite book, the way they write, I really enjoy. So like, I probably would not have enjoyed that book written by some other author, but the way Sigger writes specifically, I just really enjoy. I read Magic for Liars last year and enjoyed that too. And then I read The Echo Wife, which I absolutely loved. So I haven't loved every single book that Sarah Galley has written. But even the books that I don't love, I don't hate. Like, I enjoy them just fine. Like, I don't want to DNF them or anything like that. Like, they're perfectly fine books, and I just like listening to the way they write. Like, or listening's a weird way, but I like reading what they write. So I added I didn't know that they had a new book coming out this year. So I added that to my TBR. Very excited about that. And I think they usually have DMR free books. So I think I'm actually going to buy an ebook and that I actually own, and that Amazon is not putting limits on how I can use my own friggin' ebook. Bricking It by Nick Spalding. What is this? I don't remember. People inheriting a house. Okay. That sounds like maybe just like a fun light read of some sort. Again, I do not remember where I pick up these things. But that sounds intriguing nonetheless. I'll just touch on these last three here. The Fever King I added to the list because it's a series that's available on the Kindle Unlimited service. And at the time I was thinking about finally using my trial. So I was looking at books that were available for free through Kindle Unlimited. And that was one of the series because I wanted to get the most bang for my buck when I do that trial. When We Cease to Understand the World. This is nonfiction. I think this is a recommendation I got from Twitter from one of the journalists I follow. But it's kind of about like how when things change in a way, like when the world changes in some profound way. And you know, that we're going through something similar as a global community. So that's why this is on the list. And A School for Good Mothers. Again, I think this is a book that people either love or hate from what I've seen. I think it has kind of dystopia vibes, which I typically enjoy. So I look forward to reading that at some point. I know my library has at least a physical copy of it. I need to check the ebooks, but I'm like struggling to keep afloat with the books I want to read already. I need to stop adding stuff to my list. And then I'm going to actually go through the oldest books on my TBR. Kite Runner, which I actually have on my physical TBR over here. I bought a copy a while ago, and I was hoping that buying a physical copy, I would finally read this book. It's been on the list since 2017. A Crime in the Neighborhood. This is like a murder mystery. Not even murder mystery. It's a novel, but it's like based on some crimes, and it's like in the past. I probably should take it off the TBR, but I struggle to pull the trigger on removing stuff from my TBR when I can't even remember where I got the suggestion from. Maybe I heard a spoiler about it and I was like, oh, that sounds like something I want to read. Or maybe I heard about it like being in the culture for some reason, and I wanted to see what the fuss was about. So I don't remember why I added this to the list. Persepolis, this has been on my TBR for a while, obviously. I've been waiting for a copy at my libraries, like an e-copy, but I'm not sure an e-copy exists. It's never been available at any of my libraries, and I think I just need to buy a copy. Going Clear, a book about Scientology. Maybe I'll read that at some point. I kind of go in and out in whether I care about Scientology, and I just haven't been that into it. Rapture Ready, Adventures in the Parallel Universe of Christian Pop Culture. I don't know if I'll read that or not. It's a very prime candidate for DNFing right out the gate if I'm not immediately captured. I am intrigued by like evangelicalism in America, but that is more about like the cultural side of it, and I don't really know if I care that much about like evangelical culture that isn't like talking about the effects it has politically. So let's see, what else? Let's do average ratings. Okay, we've already talked about that. Skinny, again, I think it's like YA kind of controversial read. I just like knowing why people like don't like I just like knowing about the controversial books. I don't know. I just really do enjoy that. Things have gotten worse since we last spoke. Man came out of a door in the mountain. This is definitely something that I don't know if I'll ever reach for at this point. It kind of sounds like it's based on the Highway of Tears. Is that what it's called in Canada? Quite a few, well, lots of Native women went missing on a highway in Western Canada, I believe, have been missing, murdered. And that seems like maybe this is a novel based on that story. I don't really know if that's something I'm interested in consuming anymore. And it only has 3.2 stars, so... Fierce Little Thing, what is this? Oh, Secret History-esque tale. That I probably saw that alone. I was like, okay, let's put that on the list. I really love the Secret History, and I keep trying to find something that is similar in tone or like the feel it gives me. Like Donna Tartt, just the way she wrote The Secret History is just love it. So that's almost certainly why this is on the list. I don't know where I picked it up from, but there it is. And then let's do it the other way. Oh, a whole bunch of stuff that hasn't come out yet. How the Word is Passed, A Reckoning with the History of Slavery Across America. That was a very popular book last year with kind of the Black Lives Matter protests going on and people trying to learn more about race issues in America. I have read stuff about, I read a lot of stuff about race in America, and so I just haven't gotten around to reading this one at this point, but would like to read it. Nightingale by Kristen Hannah. I think this is like historical fiction. I know it's very popular. The fact that it's like early World War II era is like why I haven't reached for it yet. That's like right on the edge of how far back I'm willing to go with historical fiction. And I literally just read a historical fiction that takes place like in the 30s also. So I don't, and it's long, I think. Like, I think a 440 page book that's long. So I don't know. I want to read it, but also I'm like, do I want to read it? And Are Prisons Obsolete by Angela Davis. I don't read a lot of like straight like philosophical type work, and that's kind of what has kept me from picking this up sooner. I am invested in prison abolition and want to learn more. But man, the philosophical, like political philosophical stuff scares the crap out of me. It's just very difficult for me to wrap my head around. So I should pick it up sooner rather than later. Oh, and these are like so much nonfiction. The Bridge Behind My Back, writing by radical women of color. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. Norval. I think this is like kind of a local story. My local bookstore talked about this book, and that's where I got added to my list. Civil rights movement. Blue Ridge Mountains, yeah, that's Jim Crow. Yeah. So it's a story about a man who is a boxing, it looks like, maybe, during the civil rights movement, stuff like that. So it seems like a story I would enjoy. Let's see. I think we've covered some pretty decent stuff. Is there anything else I should talk about? What are long and short books that I have on my list? Books that don't have page counts, I guess. Ooh, I didn't realize things have gotten worse since we last spoke was so short. I should read that sooner rather than later because it's so short. Comfort Me with Apples is something I really want to read too, from that one of Kayla's vlogs, but none of my libraries have it, and I haven't seen it in any local bookstores anyways. So yeah, I don't know where I'm gonna get my hands on that one. What's really long on my list? People's History of the United States, which I have a like older edition of on my bookshelf to hopefully convince me to read that at some point. A Little Life, I think that is also a pretty controversial, contentious book. I know very little about it, just that some people like hate it and some people love it. I did not realize it was 720 pages long when I added it to my TBR. And the band played on politics, people, and the AIDS epidemic. When I was reading what was I reading? The Hot Zone, which is like about Ebola and like kind of the discovery of it, and then some outbreaks that happened in the 90s. It just got me really intrigued about AIDS. It like talked about it a little bit. I just got interested in like how it was discovered and where it came from, but also like just the effects it had on society. So I actually added quite a few nonfiction books about AIDS, but this one is apparently long. Plain Bad Heroines is also on here. I believe that's kind of like a gothic sort of story. Ooh, it's in 1902, is old. So whatever I had heard about this book must have overrode the time setting. All right, I think I'm just going to leave it at that. I just talked about some random books that I don't know anything about that I would like to read at some point. Yeah, and I have talked about my TBR that's over here as well. I want to try and keep it pared down. It's a lot harder now that I actually watch people talk about books on YouTube. Before I wasn't. So it was really just a collection of little rabbit holes that I had gone down at some point. And now it's a little bit more like, there's a little bit more popular recommendations almost, where I'm like, oh, that seems like something maybe I could enjoy that I wouldn't have found on my own, which keeps it well stocked in recommendations. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed taking a gander at some of the things I'm interested in reading. I'll see y'all next week. Bye.